Do be sure you check out the full season review with the card and link in the description. Remember to like this video for more Gen 5 reviews.
We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what.
Here I thought Hoof Done It would have been an unoriginal and cliche type of Cluedo-style episode, but god damn, this episode slapped me hard and my initial thoughts died in a fire. I like this penultimate story, mainly for the fact that it makes a mockery out of Zipp's natural abilities and brings her back down to earth. Considering her inflated behavior in the previous episode, it certainly served her right here. Also, this episode correctly handled the background characters. It is to be expected from the writer of Portrait of a Princess. So grab a magnifying glass and chase down some criminals, because it's time to find out Hoof Done It.
I fell right into that one.
Let's face it, for the duration of Chapter 2, Zipp's only physical mannerism on screen has been her detective parallel. All the way back from the start of Izzy Does It to the beginning of this episode, she has hardly had a moment of recollection of what it's like to just be her normal self, without the need to constantly be on the lookout for anything suspicious. Her interest in science and being Hitch's second in command may be her main character traits, yet it's been a slow realization to the protagonists and the audience that it's been having an adverse effect on her life. As it's clear as day that she may have forgotten what it was like to be laid back and not excessively cautious all the time. This habit of hers is immediately displayed in the opening when Misty makes it out with the Hope Lantern but causes a ruckus outside that makes only Zipp awaken. This was to be expected from her attitude around Misty before and the cliffhanger when she suspected her. I also liked how in the morning she calmly greeted her bedroom accessories.
Morning investigation board. Morning Radvisor.
It's a subtle hint to show how Zipp can be at ease and easygoing when nothing around her goes wrong, and then that casualness vanishes with the disappearance of the lantern.
It's gone!
Oh, scary! Shiver my timbers!
This characteristic contrast for Zipp provided me with surprise and a good laugh. I got even more chuckles when Zipp started being pessimistic about the missing lantern, going so far to even recite facts about real-life crime.
Did you know that the first few hours after a crime are critical for clues? Zipp, wait!
Sonny chimes in with some more familiar dialogue from the first special and believes it's still in the Bright House. But when the sudden apprehension hits her, she too starts to panic.
How can my special lantern be nowhere? Oh, this is bad. This is really bad.
Who's bad?
One awesome transformation sequence later,
Go, Power Rangers!
Zipp turns the Bright House into her own crime scene playground that was all around humorous since she doesn't know any better. She's overthinking herself. Like, did she really think a bitten apple in the fridge would be evidence? Soon enough though, Zipp does obtain a lead to finding out Hoof Done It, ha 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 ha, with the garden dirt leading towards the lantern case.
Dirt!
Soil?
I'll give it a miss, so.
Did I just taste dirt?
Why not away from the case, you say? Because remember, that was all Izzy's doing. Of course, Izzy isn't the smartest pony who forgot she's legit a unicorn, used the lantern to find some shizzles for sleeping tea to help her insomnia. Zipp's inquisition with Izzy makes this scene in the first act funnier in hindsight.
What better to light the way than a bright lantern?
Your glowing horn?
Upon going downstairs to chat with Pip, I respected the attention to detail with the sisters hovering in the air and not standing, especially after Zipp started following the dirt trails on the floor.
What are you doing?
This is an active crime scene.
Now here comes possibly two of the most disapproved parts of this episode. Why didn't Pip just tell Zipp about the lantern right there and there? Why didn't Misty just run away with the lantern if she had it in her grasp? Well, I think I have got two acceptable answers.
I'm all ears.
For Pip not telling Zipp about the lantern, she was only trying to be a good sister. I know it's hard to believe, but you've got to take into account the events that happened which concerned their relationship. With both of them nearly despising each other in Portrait of a Princess, it's predictable that some slivers of regret or doubt would linger on in the following days. Pip isn't keeping hold of the lantern because of selfishness. Pip is only wanting to keep Zipp enthusiastic and cheerful about finally having a time to properly shine with her detective detective skills.
But she already looks so happy. If I give it to her, her fun will be over.
Pip knows the lantern is in good hoofs and only wants to play along with positive intentions. But she ironically doesn't know that sooner or later, it leads to Zipp up front accusing Misty, so Pip has to stand up and expose herself as the so-called thief.
I've got the lantern thief right here. It's me. I'm the lantern thief.
Therefore, it makes Zipp look at herself and experience what she could turn into if she's not careful. But yeah, Pip, Zipp was right there to tell.
Zipp will be so excited you aren't missing after all.
Then, for Misty not just running away with the lantern, well, she was scared. What else were you expecting?
Oh, why did I think burying it was enough to keep it hidden?
After messing up in the middle of the night, there is a real possibility that she overreacted and heedlessly buried it instead of fleeing. You do know that it woke up the member of the group who had eyes on her the whole time in the last episode. The garden is illuminated bright enough, and Zipp would surely have seen Misty making an attempt to run away. Don't forget that Izzy could have been awake too.
I had insomnia last night, so I thought I'd brew up some unicorn sleepy time. Long tea.
We've seen that Misty isn't the most intelligent pony either, as shown before, with her failed cave trap, poor integration with the Philly 4, and going soft on the main 5 when she was supposed to be on a mission. When you have no other choice, it's best to just hide. It's sad though, as Misty is really trying to succeed, and you sort of want her to. It creates a laughingstock out of Misty, so there's no point in trying to blame her for not thinking straight.
Opaline, what do I do?
Why are you asking me? This is your mess.
Zipp ends up strolling into Maritime Bay to find more solidity on her case, and this can be essentially boiled down to being one big public questioning. It's bloody hilarious how Zipp starts to terrorize the innocents even when they don't have a single clue. Watching her with the pipsqueaks revealing that they are just like me at 3 AM in the morning was relatable fun.
We definitely weren't up watching Yoo-Hoo videos.
Oh shit!
They give Zipp a clue to who's behind the thievery with Pip's glitter, but she dismisses it due to believing that she's jumping to conclusions. The funny thing is that she was on the right track, but she still continues to suspect Misty, despite being given evidence to someone else. It further puts Zipp in an amusingly ignorant spotlight when she mistakes Mayflower's lamp for the lantern.
Mayflower, what is that?
It's an old lamp that I just had fixed at Izzy Does It.
Jackass.
Until Izzy rolls around. I'm sorry, but she is on drugs.
Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk.
Her facial expressions are one of a kind in this episode. And then the money scene rolls around with Zipp interviewing Izzy. This section of the episode is excellently crafted, with the introduction of freeze-frame flashbacks and the clever cinematography expressing the feelings of our heroes up close. Not until later when we discover that it was set in the Bright House's bathroom to a ridiculously hysterical degree. The cold blue backdrop throughout the scene adds a feeling of murky mystery to the mayor's conversation.
Because what I saw was some pony in the garden sneaking around with it.
Well, of course, that was me.
It was me!
Even the music kept switching from funky percussions to soft jingles, cutting between the moments in the real world and Izzy's memory.
You were in bed at the time. I saw you.
Oh, that? You must have seen Senor Butterscotch.
Finally, when the lights flashed on and Zipp delivered this rich line.
I feel like I'm getting closer. Like I'm on the edge of something. Ah! Ugh, I fell right into that one.
Humiliated from the bathtub gag, Zipp does what she didn't want to do earlier on. Jump to conclusions. So she runs after Misty in a nice little chase that reminded me of the beginning of the first special. Only this time, this scene feels more justified as there is a bigger stake at hoof instead of it being caused by a bird robbing a phone. I do feel bad for that tram driver, having to constantly defy death cause of Zipp.
My compliments to your cobbler.
It was slightly confusing how Zipp didn't hang around long enough to notice Misty in the main melody, but both of them culminate in a fiery confrontation, and this did make me feel sympathetic to Misty for how much Zipp was putting her on the spot.
I had a weird feeling about you. Those probing questions about Sparky.
You can talk.
When did you say you got into Maritime Bay? In town just for a visit or staying permanently? What have you heard, Misty? Who told you that? Where did you grow up, Misty?
You can talk.
It's gone too far, and now she's resorted to cornering one of the group's friends. I erupted with smiles the second Pip jumped in front of them and let out the truth. Knowing how much Pip loves to be the center of attention in nearly every episode, this genuinely stirred me to witness her letting go of her ego and putting Zipp in her place.
I've had it all day.
Huh? No, but Misty is the lantern thief.
She's not.
Maybe, personally to me, this is my favorite standalone Pip Petals moment. She doesn't hold back for a second to explain what she did to encourage Zipp, but not in the way she expected it to go down. Pip's technically not at fault here, although she is the reason it ended up like this. So it gave me tons of satisfaction to watch her stand up for Misty and defy her older sister.
But the hoof print.
I put it there to keep you going. I had no idea it'd send you on a trail after Misty.
In a chronological sense, I believe this is her way of payback for what Zipp said about her in Portrait of a Princess. The gradual collapse in Zipp's face was brilliant, and her forgiving Pip was appreciative to further show they are still on good terms, no matter if she has attitude in her voice.
Even if I did miss a few obvious clues.
Wonderful.
Plus, I forgave Zipp myself the moment she approached Misty to formally apologize and admitting she needs more experience in the detective field. Which is funny to me because in the final episode, some pony else will undergo a similar breakdown. Until we randomly get a new musical number. This unexpected shove of a song into the episode was strange, as it didn't feel part of the narrative going on in that moment, other than just being an excuse to have a song. This song would have felt better if Pip teamed up with Zipp, and when she was feeling hopeless of never finding the lantern, Pip could have cheered her up with this song. And yes, again, the full version doesn't get heard.
No!
But apart from all that, the song itself was thrilling, and in fact it's my second favorite in Chapter 2. The music video as well was vibrant enough to show off its fancy visuals, along with Seashell, Glory and Peach Fizz receiving a slice of the limelight. Oh, and yeah, what about Sunny and Hitch, I hear you wondering? Why haven't I mentioned them at all? Well, that's simple, because they hardly contributed to the story in any way. In all honesty, this should have been another Zipp and Pip centered episode, as they are obviously the main stars who receive the most screen time and most memorable moments in this episode. Which is why I find Sunny and Hitch's action outside the main melody quite unnecessary, as it felt like a repeat of Ali Khan's prologue.
Come join us in the plaza for a very important cause. I have a really important announcement.
Hitch's sections with Sparky are adorable as always, and it does provide us with some early insight on who the finale is going to focus on, but for this episode, they do almost nothing.
And cute moment over.
Sunny does get the correct idea of predicting the lantern's enhanced power when ponies are in close proximity, yet she only discovers that answer after Zipp and Pip bring it back to her.
Lantern's energy linked to proximity to unity magic.
If Sunny tagged along with Zipp, like I mentioned with Pip before, her position in the episode wouldn't have felt somewhat wasted.
Waste of good scotch.
On a lighter note, I loved this epilogue with Opaline pressurizing Misty in a harsher manner. As I said earlier, with Opaline's communications with Sunny, this feels exactly the same, but it appears more personal. Opaline's not stupid by recognizing the signs of Misty's affections for her friends. The way Opaline slithers around Misty like a hypnotist gaining control of their volunteer is seriously unnerving. Her hurtful and manipulative dialogue further put me on edge before she did the unthinkable.
No family, no home, no cutie mark.
You bitch.
That was brutal! To finish up the episode, we get another sneak peek that must have affected me the most, as I feared what on earth Opaline would have had in mind if she got her hooves on Sparky.
Dragon fire.
So, repeat this after me, Fluffbutts. Was it a yay or a nay? Who knew that Cluedo in My Little Pony would work quite efficiently in an episode like this one? Hoof Done It was equally puzzling for my first watch, and that's meant to be the point. It's great in making us interested in the ongoing mystery, and once again, the royal sisters were the shining stars. Sadly though, it was a little bare at some points, and I think it could have been improved on. Still, I give this episode a yay! I know I said in my reactions that Hoof Done It was my second favorite episode out of the bunch, and I am not changing their episode placings for anything. This is solid now. But sadly, that is no longer the case. That doesn't mean this episode's brilliant comedy and character development are wasted, because those elements still hold up today. I loved the deconstruction of Zipp's stubbornness as it lands her in a whole lot of turmoil during her investigation and interrogation with Misty. Opaline's last scene was nerve-wracking too. Pip's sneaky inclusion pushed the story's boundaries away from cliché territory and into more wacky originality with a hint of sibling encouragement. I appreciated the flashback scenes too. Did I mention how bloody hilarious this episode's number of jokes and gags are too? Zipp falling into the bathtub, Izzy's drug addiction, and the equestrian take on modern society. Like I mentioned before, this should have been another sister-centered episode instead. It's unfortunate how Sunny's involvement amounted to nearly nothing, only popping up near the end. That also includes Hitch as well, as all I could remember is him tripping over Sunny's butt and his final scene with Sparky. This did feel a little empty at times. And the musical number, as much as I love it, it was out of place and didn't feel deserved. I'm so sorry. But apart from all that, Hoof Done It is still a hell of a lot of fun. I award Hoof Done It a yay and a 7 out of 10. I apologize to my 2022 self, as I know they wouldn't like what I'm about to do, but they ain't me anymore, and yet a great episode all the same. I happily hand Hoof Done It a B rank. Thank you so much for watching this review, Fluffbots. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and hoof tap this video and comment your thoughts down below of what your thoughts on this episode were. Also, don't forget to leave a pledge on my Patreon page down in the description below so you can help support me in making these fantastic videos more consistently. And I shall see you all very soon. Goodbye! And before the video ends, I would like to shout out my Silver Fluffbutt patrons, Louise Wade and Alex Smith, and my Gold Fluffbutt patron, the Pate and Grauer Trisky. I truly appreciate your love and support.